I will read the words of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. And he says, "The world is but a show, glittering and empty. It is, and yet it is not. It is there as long as I want to see it and take part in it. When I ceased caring, it dissolves. It has no cause and serves no purpose. It just happens when we are absent-minded. It appears exactly as it looks, but there is no depth in it, no meaning. Only the onlooker is real. Call himself or Atma. To the self, the world is but a colorful show, which he enjoys as long as it lasts and forgets when it is over. Whatever happens on the stage makes him shudder in terror or roll with laughter. Yet, all the time, he is aware that it is but a show. Without desire or fear, he enjoys it as it happens. There is a difference between engaging in the world and getting involved in the world. These are two different perceptions. For one, where awakening has happened and the empty nature of objects of the world is seen, that mind-body organism engages but never gets involved. And even if the involvement happens, it happens for a short duration of time. Therefore, the organism lives spontaneously with total awareness. And this is something which brings a lot of peace, which brings a lot of enjoyment in the activities that they do. Maharaj says it is, and yet it is not. Yes, the world appears to be real. But how real the world appears depends on who is looking. If world is seen from the perspective of a separation, a separate self, watching the world, then objects of the world, things of the world, events of the world seem very dense, very real. So one may start believing that there is a lot of injustice in the world happening. But when that separation is broken down, when that subject-object split is broken down, the perspective changes. One simply sees everything as a happening. Now one may still take part in it, still engage in the activities of the world, but they do not get involved. What does that mean? That means, for example, you may identify with a cause. Let's say inequality. Let's say you campaign for equality, for peace, for harmony. Now there is a difference in your actions once there is this realization that the objects of the world are empty. You still put your point of view. You still spread the message of peace and happiness. You still act with compassion, which means you act with acceptance of what the what viewpoint the other people hold. You do not attack them. You do not condemn them for having a different point of view. But you at the same time assert your own viewpoint with peace and harmony, without a tone of condescension or contempt. You are able to deliver your message without getting caught up in this dualistic game of right and wrong. You still will put your point of view about inequality, injustice, about promoting peace and harmony and universal brotherhood. But you will not get so caught up in it that you become the very force that you're fighting. It is not a matter of force. It is not a matter of executing effort, strong effort, because that is tied up to either fear or desire, as Maharaj says. I may want the world to be peaceful. Yes, it is a noble idea. But whether the world will be peaceful or not is not in my control. Yet, I still spread the message of peace, knowing that somewhere, somebody may be touched by the message. And somewhere the awakening may happen, which may lead to flowering of consciousness, where this subject-object split of me versus the other changes into this beautiful cooperation of me and the other. So Maharaj says, when I cease caring, it dissolves. What he simply means is that when I stop getting involved in the messaging that is put out about the world, it does not matter anymore to me. Someone may try to convince me that the world is a horrible place. It's violent. There's a lot of discrimination. There's a lot of inequality, injustice. And yes, these things are there. No denying it. But the perspective from which I see, I do not try to change the world. I simply ask to go within and discover that peace, that love, that compassion. That is your most natural state. So I do not get involved, overly concerned about the outcome of my efforts. I do not try to convince you that you must be kind, but I point to your own source of kindness which you have within yourself, which shines as your own self or Atman, as Maharaj says here. He says to the self, the world is but a colorful show, which he enjoys as long as it lasts and forget when it is over. So a lot of things may be happening in the world, but you simply enjoy what is happening each and every moment. And why that is not a bad thing is because your peace matters more than world peace. Because if you are not peaceful, the world will never be peaceful. You are not separate from the world. You are the rest of humanity. As J. Krishnamurti says, the spark that is here within you is manifesting as the dysfunction that we see outside. There is no war going on outside. There is a war going here within. And the courage is to turn this whole movement of mind from external to the internal. The courage is to detach from this obsession to fix the world, to fix the other, but to see what is happening in my own internal world. Why does what is happening outside create a turbulence within me? Maharaj says, whatever happens on the stage makes him shudder in terror or roll with laughter, yet yet all the time he's aware that it is but a show. So he means that the biological organism will act and react according to their natural tendencies. So certain things will bring up terror, fear. Other things will bring laughter, but it will all be momentary. That means he will engage with the world. So if there is, for example, if there is violence happening, it will terrorize a person who is fearful in that moment, in that time. But when it is over, he will not dwell on it. He will not sit with it for years, months. He will not spin a story around it. He will not say that just because that violent thing happened to me or to someone else, now I see the humanity is all flawed, that humanity is evil, or that God is evil. Most people like to believe that the God is evil. But is God separate from humanity? No, God is humanity. Humanity is God. It's all one. Humanity, manifestation as we see it functioning, is God. Is consciousness animating everything. There is no separate God out there keeping tabs on its creation, keeping an account. A God is not an account keeper. It is only the mind which is an account keeper. And that is why mind believes in the concept of karma. But it usually associates karma in a very negative light. We hardly see karma as something positive. We always associate it with negativity. I did bad things. I should not have done this. I should not have done that. How can I improve my karma? So these all questions are basically being born out of fear. Fear of not facing this I and not seeing it for what it is. So, where the understanding, the spiritual understanding has happened, that person is always aware that it is all a show. They take part in it. They enjoy in the celebrations. And they mourn when some tragedy happens. But they do not get caught up. It is all momentary. It is all spontaneous. After that, they go back. They don't live with guilt and regret, continuously claiming that they did something bad in the past. They broke somebody's heart, or that they hurt their parents. All that is just thinking mind. It's just the separate self trying to bring attention to itself. Look how flawed I am. And when it says how flawed I am, that is what it projects onto the world. The limited mind projects its limitation onto the objects that it is perceiving. That is why Kabir says that when I try to find evil in the world outside, I don't find it. But I realize that the greatest evil lies here in me. I am my worst enemy. Why? Because I have created this separation between me and God. And this separation has turned me into a beggar. This separation has turned me into a coward. I'm begging each and every moment, do this for me, do that for me. I'm running into the temples, into the places of worships, into gurdwaras, into churches, into mosques, and I'm asking God like a beggar, please give me this, give me that. Don't you see how self-centered that is? It is not wrong to desire, because desire by themselves are not good or bad. It is the nature of desire. It is the perception of the desire which matters. For example, to spend time celebrating with a partner, a romantic partner, and build a happy married life with them is not an evil desire. It is not a wrong desire, quote unquote wrong desire. That desire comes from wholeness. And it is basically two people being creative. Two people building a life and through their creativity providing value to the world. But when I think of this idea that I must get married so that my loneliness, the problem of my loneliness gets dissolved, so that I feel inadequate, incomplete, and the other person through their presence in my life must complete me, then that desire is totally coming out of self-centeredness. That is what creates suffering and misery. So when two people get together to celebrate wholeness, then they enjoy. Even with the ups and downs, they always remember that it is all a show. And one day this show will end. Every relationship will end. It will come to a complete halt at some point. Why? Because that is the nature of life. Everything that starts has to end. There is no permanence in anything other than what Maharaj calls as the onlooker, which he calls as the only thing that is real, which can be either called self or Atman, or pure consciousness. Because it is in that consciousness that this whole world and its activities are illuminated. So when Maharaj says that he does not care about the world, he does not literally mean that he doesn't care about the world. Of course, Maharaj has written so many books and provided so many talks to so many people, which I'm sure have changed their lives. What Maharaj is saying is that I do not get caught up in your psychological state. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm just pointing you to your own source. And that is what every master has done. Any master that is trying to change you is basically committing an act of violence. The master that is pointing you to your own source and letting you discover who you truly are is the true master. They're not concerned with your happiness, unhappiness, with your desires, with your fears, because they know it is all temporary. It's a part of your personality. Today you may get up in a bad mood and you may fear the world. All of a sudden the world may seem like a horrible place to you. You may read something in the newspaper or watch something on the media, and unfortunately or fortunately our media is quite bad. It's quite, I'm sorry, not bad. It's quite negative. There's always sensationalism, chaos. This is happening, that is happening. We do not get time to go inward. We are always caught up. So as long as we care, we get involved. And when we get involved, we become the suffering. We suffer with this world. But the moment we stop caring, that means we see this world for what it is. It has been like this since the very beginning. These problems that we face in the modern world are not new problems. They are the same problems which have been happening since the beginning of eternity. It's just that they have acquired a different shape now, but the nature of these problems are more or less the same, and they're all rooted in separation. It is all the separate self, which is just trying to see the world from its limited, filtered perception. It has put all faith in thought only. and thought alone. And it thinks that intellect is the only way it can fix what is external. And this intellect is a sharp tool which is cutting this, this whole idea into two, good and bad. But here's a problem. Some things will be bad for some people, good for others. So how do we know what is good, what is bad? But when the awareness withdraws and we go inward into our lightness, into our restfulness, the beingness that we are, then we realize that the one engaging in the world is the character, the mind-body organism, the beautiful, beautiful, amazing instrument, highly intelligent instrument, which is by nature peaceful, very peaceful. It will act and react according to its conditioning, which is peace. Sometimes it will be angry, sometimes it will be sad, sometimes it may be anxious, but it is all momentary. There is always a remembrance of our beingness, of our effortlessness. It never gets lost when this spiritual understanding happens.